responded. Of course, again, like I said, it's rural. Tankers have to show up instead of trucks that can use fire hydrants. So that is the information we have at this point. Multiple agencies on scene. Nobody was in the building, and they believe it was lightning strike that caused the fire at the Cherokee Trading Post on the south side of exit 108 in between Hinton and El Reno at the Watonga exit.
Mike, great reporting there. And again, like I said, our storm trackers, they've been out. So Mike and Jesse, our lead storm trackers, and they've been covering, this weather from really western all the way into central Oklahoma. Again, earlier this evening, we had an unconfirmed report out in Elk City of an apartment complex actually being struck by lightning as well. That actually was engulfed in flames. Again, unreported or unsubstantiated report, at least at this point, that it was struck by lightning. In Weatherford, we did have confirmed reports of, again, lightning strikes basically causing widespread power outages in Weatherford. That was when Mike and Jesse were out there. We've also been tracking the flooding through Oklahoma as well. We've had basically rivers, roads that have turned to rivers, especially out in Weatherford earlier today. If you were joining us on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, you saw that live as well. Again, with our team of trackers, Mike and Jesse out there. And now basically they were tracking weather into the Oklahoma City metro. They just started heading westbound back out on I-40 back towards the Weatherford area. And then when they happened to stumble across this, again, this lightning strike apparently at the Cherokee Trading Post. And apparently this was a direct strike. Again, the information we have now, again, this is just initial information. Again, what Mike was told by the law enforcement officials there that are responding to this is that there was nobody actually in the Cherokee Trading Post. The building was empty. It was struck by lightning. It was then engulfed in flames. And again, there was no fire hydrants. There was really nothing for the fire officials to hook up to. So we have multiple agencies responding with basically tanker trucks that they had to bring in, again, to actually put the flames out and get this under control. But it was fairly dramatic when we initially brought this up because of the amount of emergency crews responding to it. We weren't exactly sure how grave the situation was. But again, I guess the reason for initially so many emergency crews responding is because, again, there were no fire hydrants. They actually needed to bring in the tanker trucks and the additional people and the additional resources, again, to get this fire under control. But again, from the reporting of Mike Russ, one of our storm trackers there, it sounds like the initial fire, the fire currently is becoming under control. Mike, go ahead and tell us again where exactly this is off of I-40 for some people not familiar with the Cherokee Trading Post there. And also from your vantage point, are you still seeing that, again, the flames appear to be completely under control with this?
Yes, William. This is exit 108. It's going to be halfway between Hinton and El Reno off of I-40, also known as the Watonga exit. I can't remember what highway this is actually, William. But this is referred to as the Cherokee Peak. I do believe the owners have just shown up. We're able to see from our vantage point a SUV showed up, is now parked in front of the building. Definitely is a personally owned vehicle with the flashers on. Firefighters are removing ladders from the front side of the building to the roof, which would definitely signify that this structure did catch on fire on the upper portion of the building, especially if they had ladders on the top of the building. So again, we have more agencies showing up again. In fact, now we have Greenfield Fire on the scene as well. They just went past us. But yeah, it's still on fire. We're still seeing smoke. It looks like the owners have now shown up to find out what has happened to their building. Multiple agencies on scene. We know of one ambulatory service. They've just been sitting there for support of the fire department, of course. Multiple law enforcement agencies trying to keep people away from the scene. So right now,
hey Mike, how big is that building? I don't mean to interrupt you there. How big is the Cherokee? And I'm not completely familiar with the Cherokee Trading Post there off of I-40 either, but I mean, what size is this building that we're talking about? Is this a fairly large building, or is it just a smaller structure? I know I'm familiar with a couple of the other trading posts around the state, and some of those are actually fairly large, but this one here specifically, how large is that building?
Yes, William, it would be on average about the size of your average mid-sized gas station. Kind of a quick shop style gas station. It's got quite a bit of room in it. I couldn't tell you what the square footage would be. I'd say honestly anywhere between a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot range. It's a fairly decent sized building. It's not a home size, a little bit bigger than that, but it's somewhat substantial. But we're definitely noticing that the smoke is coming down, William. That is a good sign.
Okay, and that's good. That's the good news right there. And again, just to underscore, at least the initial information we have is that, again, nobody was actually in the building when this happened. So again, you're basically looking live at the Cherokee Trading Post, and this is out off of I-40. This is basically between Hinton and El Reno. I believe Mike said this is exit 108 off of I-40. And again, the initial reports, this is probably 30 minutes ago now, that this was actually struck by lightning. We've had some very electrically charged storms that have moved through Oklahoma. Heavy rain and lightning has been the big threat late this afternoon and this evening. And again, this building, this Cherokee outpost, basically the size of what Mike said would be kind of a normal gas station. Again, it was struck by lightning, and again, it was basically engulfed in flames. And there's no fire hydrants. There's nothing that the fire department could hook into as far as water pressure goes. And so we've seen quite a few emergency vehicles. I mean, it was fairly dramatic, at least for the first 10 minutes with everything showing up. We were kind of wondering exactly how grave the situation was with this, again, the response that we were seeing. But then it kind of turns out that, again, there's no fire hydrants. So again, they were having to bring in tanker trucks and other resources in order to put that fire out. And again, the initial information, or from Mike Russ's, our storm trackers reporting, is that again, this is now contained. But again, we're still seeing a lot of emergency crews there, and still some even showing up as well. And again, we had reports earlier today out in the Elk City area of a apartment complex out there being struck by lightning, engulfed in flames, and then around the Weatherford area, again, some structures there, some electrical structures basically being struck by lightning, and widespread power outages from PSO out around the Weatherford area again earlier today. So again, these storms have been fairly electrically active, and again, really caused some damage today. Again, if the report of that apartment complex out in Elk City actually being due to lightning as well is confirmed, then again, we've had several structures today that were struck by lightning and again became engulfed in flames, unfortunately. But again, you're still looking live at, again, Mike and Jesse, our team of trackers, our Fast Track Storm Team's video, again, out there off of exit 108. Again, this is the Cherokee Trading Post, again, being struck by lightning probably within the last 30 minutes. Mike and Jesse just happened to, on their way back, just happened to run across this, and we had the initial video of this happening and the initial response from the, again, emergency responders, again, as this happened about 30 minutes ago here on Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. So, Mike, let's check in one more time with you. It seems like, again, from your reporting, is that the fire is basically under control. Again, maybe putting out some hot spots right now, but again, compared to where this was 30 minutes ago, again, a much different situation. Still see a lot of emergency crews there, a lot of active lights going. But again, from what you're seeing from your vantage point there, again, you're saying this is basically contained or possibly even completely put out?
William, we're still seeing smoke coming out of the south side of this building. In fact, the Tonga Fire Department just showed up, which means it had to be a fairly significant fire. Jesse and I know a lot about this. That would be what we call a mutual aid, where they basically call in a bunch of fire departments to help because of it being a structure fire, and it's remote area, not having, like you said, any fire hydrants, anything like that. So it's all pumpers that have to show up. So they have to be full of water, show up, spray the building, leave, get more water. It basically, when they do a mutual aid, William, it's so that they can keep a constant stream of water on this building to try to get the fire out. We're still seeing smoke at this time. However, we are noticing that the local law enforcement is backing out of the area. They're actually completely leaving, which to me would tell me that the fire is actually pretty close to being out. But like Watonga just showed up, Watonga Fire Department, but Watonga is such a distance away that it would have taken them a while to get here. But yes, and Greenfield Fire Department. But again, this is the exit 108 off of I-40 in between Hinton and El Reno. It is the south side Cherokee Trading Post. The north side, if you're familiar with the area, is just fine. The gas station, Cherokee, is just fine. It is the south side Trading Post, where they sell Native American memorabilia, Western Oklahoma memorabilia, and Route 66 memorabilia. That building is actually the one on fire. But it does look like they're getting a control on it. Again, local law enforcement is starting to move out of the area and leave. Fire department is still showing up.
All right, folks, so we're going to check back in with Mike Russ and Jesse out there on that fire here in a second. I want to bring you up to date with what else is going on around Oklahoma, because we continue to track, well, heavy rain across a good portion of Oklahoma. And you can see up here across parts of north central Oklahoma, that's where at least the heaviest rain is right now. But we also have this area of at least fairly heavy rain now moving in across parts of really southwestern Oklahoma as well. For the Oklahoma City Metro, we're going to zoom in here in just a second. But unfortunately for the Oklahoma City Metro, most of the heavy rain lifted just to the north of the metro. Now we do have this other batch that's starting to move up to the northeast as well. So we're tracking all of this. Then also notice across parts of southwestern Kansas, that's where the cold front is, and that's also trying to light up here as well. So let's go and zoom in. I want to take a closer look at basically what's going on here across Oklahoma, just to give everyone a radar update here as well, because again, outside of again the coverage of the lightning strike there at the Cherokee Trading Post, we still have a lot of other active weather going as well. So we're going to check right back in with Mike and Jesse there on again off of I-40 at the Cherokee Trading Post here in a minute. But I first of all want to take a look up across parts of north central Oklahoma, and we'll basically just kind of work the radar around here, around the state. And first of all, again, north central Oklahoma, basically from Newkirk down through Ponca City, Medford, Pond Creek, Enid. Again, that's moderately to heavy rain falling. But as you get closer to Perry, Pawnee, and Stillwater, we've got a pocket of fairly heavy rain falling there. Still some fairly intense lightning up across parts of north central Oklahoma as well. And again, you can see specifically from really Stillwater back down through the Guthrie area, a couple pockets there of some fairly heavy rain and intense lightning as well. You're seeing those little white bolts here. And where you're seeing those, again, those are lightning strikes, cloud to ground lightning strikes. And again, this is sampled every 3 minutes. So over the last 3 minutes, especially around the Guthrie area, a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes. Again, that's been one of the things that we've really highlighted as we've gone throughout the late afternoon and the evening, is because again, I mean, we've had these multiple structures now that again, at least initial reports have been struck by lightning. These storms have been very electrically charged, so we've got to keep our eyes on that. And then also the heavy rain that we're seeing, again, with some of that localized flooding that we've seen throughout the day as well. But at least right now, Stillwater, Guthrie, you folks seeing extremely heavy rain. The Oklahoma City Metro, some scattered showers ongoing around the metro right now. Now, I think that will change here over the next several hours. Edmond, you folks did see some fairly heavy rain earlier, more in the way of moderate rain back near the El Reno area. Of course, it's Saturday night. A lot of people have Saturday night plans out doing their thing, but at least some scattered rain, maybe some moderate rain at times. But I think the deeper into the evening, into the first part of the overnight we get, I think that wave down across parts of southwestern Oklahoma, I think that's going to start tracking up towards the Oklahoma City Metro. So I do think it's still going to be, again, a fairly wet late evening overnight period. So definitely keep that in mind for your plans a little bit later on this evening. And then we pick up, here comes that next wave there, a fairly heavy rain. And this is going to be as we get down across parts of southern Caddo County, back down towards the Elgin, Lawton, Geronimo area. And in fact, there's a brand new flash flood warning in effect down here around the Lawton area. We're going to take a look at some rainfall rates here in just a second. But again, extremely heavy rain. And look at all this cloud to ground lightning. Again, these storms tonight have been so electrically charged, but again, that trend just continues over the last 3 minutes. Again, these are all cloud to ground direct strikes. And again, you can see fairly electrically active down there. I want to take a look at some rainfall rates because we have that new flash flood warning in effect down there. Over the last 60 minutes here, again, this is what the computer is estimating the rainfall rates to be. Now, again, these are estimates, but again, anytime you're getting some of these hot colors like we're seeing showing up here, this has been some heavy rain. And keep in mind, this is over the last 60 minutes, not all day, but over the last 60 minutes. So basically with the colors here, we're going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 plus inches of rain possible right there on the northern and northwestern sides of Lawton, back up towards the Medicine Park area. And again, that's just been over the last 60 minutes. So again, that's why that flash flood warning is in effect. very heavy rain has fallen around the Lawton area. And of course, as some of us know who live down there, who have lived down there, again, the Lawton area, there are parts of that town that do flood fairly easily. So for our friends down in Lawton, there is some ongoing street flooding happening, again, with all that heavy rain that, again, has fallen at least over the last 60 minutes. So definitely keep that in mind down there. But even down towards Geronimo, again, some fairly heavy rain has fallen over the last 60 minutes. Most of the heavy rain now just east of the Lawton area. But again, as we go a little bit further to the south, down closer to the border, again, we're still tracking some fairly heavy rain down into parts of Cotton County. You can see Walters and Temple, basically back down to the Red River Valley there. Again, extremely heavy rain. And the overall motion with that is to the east, but there's also a northeasterly jog. And some of this activity down here might try and at least make a little bit of a run towards the Oklahoma City metro. So again, you can see the motion is to the east, but there's also that northeasterly jog. So the line is moving east, but the individual cells are moving to the northeast. So I think this is going to be the general trend heading into the evening, that there's going to be a wave of fairly heavy rain, intense lightning moving up towards the Oklahoma City metro. So again, definitely for your Saturday evening plans, again, definitely keep that in mind. Again, for the Oklahoma City metro, again, specifically as well. Now, with that being said, I want to go and check back in with our team of trackers, our fast track storm team, Mike and Jesse. Again, they're out there basically off the exit 108 between Hinton and El Reno on, again, the direct lightning strike that the Cherokee Trading Post took out there probably about 45 minutes ago now. So again, Mike and Jesse, they're live out there. Hey, Mike, if you're still on the live line here with us, go ahead and give us an update with, again, what you guys are seeing out there and kind of the latest information that, again, you've been able to gather, again, while you've been out there.
Yes, William. We're still at the exit 108 Cherokee Trading Post on the south side of I-40. This is the memorabilia store, the gift store, you might say. It was, from initial reports, it was struck by lightning. Nobody was in the building at the time. We have seen the smoke come significantly down. I do believe the fire is pretty much out. I do believe it's just getting the remainder of the smoke out of the building. I'm seeing a lot of movement by firefighters just walking around, going back to the trucks moving around. Local law enforcement has started leaving the scene. The owner has already showed up to the building, it appears. But it does look like it's under control now, if not completely out. But again, this is the Cherokee Trading Post, exit 108. It's in between Hinton and El Reno, Oklahoma. It's also known as the Watauga exit 108. William, a lot of agencies showed up, Grandfield, Watauga. There was power companies, Hinton Fire Department, El Reno Fire Department. A lot of agencies showed up to this fire. It was definitely a pretty good sized fire that looks like the interior of the building received most of the damage. But at this time, it does look like they've got it under control, William.
And that's the good news right there, Mike. And also the other piece of good news is that, again, apparently there was nobody in the structure either when, again, that was apparently struck by lightning. So, again, folks, that's where we are going on 9 p.m. here on this Saturday evening. Again, we've been tracking weather really throughout the afternoon across western, west central, into central Oklahoma. And, again, we've been dealing, again, with some localized flooding. We've really covered that live with some streets out in Weatherford that looked like rivers earlier today. And then, again, unfortunately, some direct lightning strikes that, again, our team of trackers, specifically Mike and Jesse, have captured as we've gone throughout the day. So some fairly dramatic video. And again, really the active weather will continue through the late evening into the overnight through tomorrow as well. And again, we're going to be here tracking it with you as well during that period of time. So we're going to take a quick break. Again, we've basically been on for most of the late afternoon and throughout the evening. So we're going to take a break as there's kind of a bit of a lull in the action. But again, we'll have another live update probably coming up here in about 30 minutes. And then we'll continue to track the weather overnight and of course tomorrow as well. So remember, just turn it here to Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV, whether you're watching us on Roku, Apple TV, Google Chromecast, or of course the Oklahoma Weather Tracker mobile app. You can always pull us up on that, or our website, oklahomaweathertracker.com. And also for those of you that like us on Facebook, and by the way, if you haven't liked us on Facebook, be sure to do that. But we're also putting our channel on Facebook Live from time to time as well. We've kind of been playing with that, and in fact tonight it's also on Facebook Live as well. So pretty much any easy way or convenient way to watch the channel, it's basically available to you. And again, we do cover all of Oklahoma. So again, wherever you are in the state, if there's active weather, you can always turn it to Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. So otherwise, keep it here with Oklahoma Weather Tracker TV. We'll keep you up to date with the latest live weather information for Oklahoma. And again, we'll be back with you here in about 30 minutes or less.